he becomes ill, and he sees what he first thinks is a doctor, and then no, I'm a counselor, but he's fully modern day, just normal guy. I guess he speaks the language or something of these aliens, or what is misunderstood as aliens. And then, well, this is still hacky. The second episode is called Puck, and he says, like, that's not a sickness at all. That's actually, it's not like a scary sci-fi movie fully, comforting him. It's actually, a little butterfly effect in the ripple in the universe where that window is that shows you something of full health, and you will be fully healthy. That's the news itself, whether it's good or whatever. But as you have seen, this specificity with what you're referring to is ultimately the opposite of a trick question. It's something to tell you, like I believe you said once, two count some, follow your nose. And he says to himself and draws in a breath of utter fear and says, well, why would I allow this something else to lead me if I know full well since I was a baby that everything is me and I am everything else? And he says that's not, the other side of being an untrick. It's not the other side of, your toe. Ultimately, you look down at it, doesn't have just two sides, like, exactly the same. It's the nail on one side and the soul on the other. He's like, that's right, the soul on the other. And he tries to take him, and then he says, that's a good sign. Curses be curses, that's a good sign. And, notice the sign on the way out. He looks at it, and the way out it says, like, exit crossing in yellow, and it's the only way that sign's ever looked at him, that particular road sign. And he's like, well, what is this thought in my head? What is this substance of thought itself? And she looks and says, no, it's not that way. It's not the root. We're going to have some kind of math problem. Now, play hockey, and he gets this feeling, ugh. Like, she says, stop, what is that? That's not where I'm going. And she says, I know you're faking it. And he says, no, I'm not. Then you're sick, with a sidekick, a Kit Kat, a piece of rat-a-tat jazz. And he says, I really want to, like, when you talk that way, not if you ask me that. And then he next thing he knows, he's, knowing full well he got there safely with no blink and instant transportation on, bus stop area, about to find, some sort of new familiar object, and that's when he senses the shaman who's there psychically and sometimes always there physically, and he becomes the next teacher. And he's got a phone, and it's got the number of this lady, well, 2 years younger than him, doctor, university student, doesn't quite clear why she's still studying. And then he like deletes her number, and then he continues on the bus, knowing full well where it's going, and fully not knowing where it's going at the same time.